Welcome back to Healing in Spanglish. It's your hosts, Metzli and Ishel, your Boyle Heights besties, figuring out what wellness really looks like for us and our people.
So let's get real about healing in all the ways we weren't taught but deeply deserve.
All right, it's episode 2. What are we talking about today?
So the theme for today is guilt, specifically how we navigate through those feelings in relation to our parents, our family, within ourselves, and, with everything going on around in our community. So we're going to get into a little bit about what that means for us in our life.
It's definitely a deeper conversation, but there's also a lot of funny ways that we can experience guilt. So we're going to mix it up.
Let's break the ice.
And let's break the ice. Before digging in, so we're going to do our Spanglish word of the week, which we chose is marqueta, which we often refer to as the market, that we're going to instead of the actual proper term, supermercado, right?
Yeah.
It's not normal, at least for sure in my household or grandparents, to say it like that. It's just, I don't know. You make every English word a Spanish word by putting like a A at the end or
no, literally.
And it's now Spanish. So, that's the word of the week.
Marqueta.
Nothing much to it. And then the second part is what our mini healing confession is for this week. For me, I'm working on resting more. I'm always on the go, a lot of physical labor in my life right now. And so I'm trying to find more time to just like chill and relax, find a balance between the two. So that's something that I'm just trying to like heal from and be okay with.
That's real.
Yeah. Not feel the guilt.
Resting without feeling guilty. Yeah. For me, definitely has to be better time management.
Yeah.
I just have to be like mindful of like how long it takes me to do certain things. Like in the morning, it takes me like an hour to get ready. So
she was 5 minutes late this morning.
I know. I'm so sorry. Well, to be fair, I had a crisis in the morning.
She did. Excusable.
Yeah. We love her. Anyways, so just working on that. Little baby steps.
Yeah. No, time management is always something.
Yeah.
A work in progress.
Shout out Miss Cariaga.
Yeah. Oh my God, for real. She really did teach me. Yeah, too. I feel you.
So what's something that you recently have felt guilty about?
Yeah, on a very lighthearted note about
silly.
Guilt, to kind of like jump and ease into it. Something that, and I literally ended up telling them.
You did?
They were cracking up about it, but something that I do sometimes. Right now, my sister is living with me, and her and her partner tend to have a lot of leftover food in the fridge, and it's a shared fridge, and I get hungry sometimes, and I really pretty much cook from home, so like leftovers are very tempting. You're like, I don't have to cook, and so sometimes I see it, and so sometimes I like pick at it. So that's my like in the moment I don't feel guilty because I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna a little bit, they won't notice. But then when I see them eating it, I'm like, oh, that's my stuff. Like I'm eating food. So yeah, little guilty, but baby guilty.
So they know.
They know now. I told them.
They're like, just
if you see this coming out. Yeah. They still didn't notice. I was doing it to yourself. What's something you've been feeling guilty about or have experienced?
Yeah, mine isn't too silly, but
more serious.
No, we're serious. So I have made it a practice to drop my mom off in the morning because she doesn't drive. But recently, I just have other commitments in the morning because I work really late. So
she's a busy girl.
Yeah, so I can't drop her off, and the days that I can, I feel really bad because sometimes my dad can't do it, and she has to take public transportation. So it just makes me feel guilty because I'm like, of course, she's older, she just had her really crazy surgery, and so I feel guilty about it. But I'm also I love her because she doesn't make me feel bad about it. She's like, it's okay,
it's internal.
Yeah, it's literally internal. Yeah,
that's where it mostly comes from.
Yeah.
I feel you though. It's a balance for sure of prioritizing your own things, but also wanting to do that for your mom and your parents. Yeah, so
it's hard.
The guilt is real. All right, well, we're gonna dig into the topic today just to give you an overview about what are some of the types of things, like Iksha said earlier, that we're gonna dig into. Some of these things revolve around guilt of distance, right? What our experience has been moving away from home for the first time for college, or even the guilt attached to when you move back home or move away from home, even if you're in the same city, what that experience is like, maybe what it's like when you're traveling the world or doing things that your parents aren't there for, and the guilt that's attached to that, especially culturally. We also want to talk about guilt of success, things that you're doing that maybe your parents didn't have the opportunity to do that you're experiencing and trying to find joy in it, but also wanting them so badly to be a part of it, and how you kind of balance those internal feelings. That goes into the financial as well, and how things shift, and you know, your parents want better for you, but it's like a weird dynamic when you might be making these different life decisions that they didn't necessarily have, or have the opportunity to make. And then the guilt of also being present and not present, like for events, for parties, for choosing to do something else for yourself, wanting to go on a solo trip for your birthday, anything like that. And then, of course, like Ikshal said too, with everything that's going on in our communities right now, especially with, you know, the current political state of this country, and especially in our communities, and how they're forcibly being taken from homes, and just, you know, everything that's going on has been very, very heartbreaking. And how you balance like the guilt around seeing this happen in our community, and what we can do about it as individuals who maybe aren't directly, literally our families being taken from us, but this is our community, and how we can still contribute. So finding a balance of like working through that guilt, because it's hard to see that happening in your neighborhood, but then not feeling like you're doing enough. So we want to talk about all those things, because they're all things that we experience. Guilt is like probably one of the most loaded feelings, I would say, like one could feel. It's in everything. So honestly, we're going to talk about that today, but I know that's a lot. Hopefully we can still keep it a little light.
I'm like thinking about everything I feel guilty about.
I'm just curious about your experience, like when you first moved from home, like what was the hardest part about it? Did you feel guilty? Did your parent, like, what was the relationship like when you left your house, since you are the only child as well?
So I went to college out in Pennsylvania, and it was really far. When I had to make that decision in my senior year, it was a very difficult conversation to have with my family. Like, definitely, for sure, my mom was like really upset, because we were really close at the time, and so she was like really hurt at the fact that like I was choosing to leave my home that like she had raised me in. She was kind of like, why are you leaving? Like,
you have it great. Like, why would you?
Why would you leave? Like, what do those universities have to offer that like the ones here in California can? And like, she just made me feel really bad about like my choice. And I understand, right? Because it's like I'm literally the only child. Like, also, like, my parents have a very, like, let's just say interesting relationship. So, like, I feel like I was kind of like her support system through it all. And so it was hard, honestly. Like, I felt guilty about my decision, but also I knew that, like, it was for my better self. And so it was weird, because, like, I felt freedom, but at the same time, like, I knew that like back home, my parents were pissed, and my mom didn't talk to me for like a minute. And like, she was also like, she would throw like side jobs at me when we would like talk, or like she'd be so upset why I couldn't pick up her calls. And like, I'm like, girl, like, first of all,
I'm like in class or something.
I'm like class and like 3-hour difference. Like, it was a whole like thing, but I definitely like felt guilty. But I think like as time went by, like, I slowly started like letting those feelings go, because obviously like I was living a completely different life. But
it's crazy actually, not thinking about it. Like, not only are you the only child, so like you're the oldest, youngest, middle, like you're everything, right? So like I understand that like being the first is a lot, but like you're the only. So what's interesting about that is, for me leaving home, yes, I was the first, which I felt guilt, some level of guilt. But I knew there was others there. Like, I knew my siblings were still there. Whereas, like, for you, like, there's no siblings there. So it was like, you or no one there, you know? So that is interesting to have to deal with, because, like, it's all on you.
It's hard.
It's crazy.
It was, it was sad. But I definitely think that, like, a lot of it was also stemming from me. Because I think, like, obviously, like, after a while, your parents get over stuff. Like, it happens. But...
sorry, I was going to ask you, like, how did you eventually... Because, okay, yes, you're saying it's internal, most of the guilt. How did you then end up working through that guilt, or at least not letting it consume you as much?
I think, what did I do? I think I would just talk to, like, a lot of my friends about it, and some of them were experiencing, like, the same levels of guilt. And I think just, like, being validated about, like, those feelings, like, really helped me. And also, like, just realizing that, like, also, like, putting myself in their shoes, like, just knowing that, like, you know, we come from like I come from an immigrant household. Like, they're scared. Like, they have no idea what their daughter is up to. Like,
it's fear.
You know, God forbid, right? And so like just understanding like the emotions that they were going through, like, made me feel more empathetic towards it. And I'm like, also like my mom is a mom. Like, that is her role, like, to be protective, to love and care for me. And so just like letting her do her own thing.
She was coping.
Yeah, she was coping, which is real. I'm like, we're human. We can all experience that. But it was hard. It was definitely really hard. Yeah.
And I think also, like, at least, like, I think a lot of the times guilt stems from like a place of, like, in this way, it stems from a place of like caring. She might have said it in a way that was like, I'm mad at you for like leaving and give you the silent treatment, but it was stemming from like, she cared and was just deeply, like, her, like, and wanted you home, so that's some level of comfort in the sense that it's not like evil.
Thanks, girl.
It's like, she cares so much.
She cares.
I get it. And I feel you on the, like, because I too, even though I didn't move that far, I went to a school that's like an hour away, but not that far.
It's still kind of traffic.
So the great part about it is that that's exactly what I wanted. Like, I wanted a school that was far enough where my parents can't just show up any moment they want, but they also, like, if I needed to go home or something happened, I could go. So it was enough space between us where, like, they were not showing up at my door every day.
Like, thank God.
I was really grateful for that. But I still felt some level of guilt because I'm more experienced on the side of when you're talking about like the calls that your mom would, why aren't you picking up and da-da-da. My mom was so accustomed to me calling every single day. And I felt like that was even like some sort of expectation, and I felt pressure to do that even on days where I'm like, I didn't want to talk to someone right now, or like maybe I was having my own hard day or having to study or going out or whatever it is. And like, I felt like some level of like guilt if I did not call, and I felt really bad and I had to like make up a lie or an excuse. And it sucks to deal with it, even though I'm like, I'm an adult. Like, I know I'm not doing anything bad. I know I'm not doing anything like wrong, but I felt a level of guilt if I didn't call her that day. So I dealt with a lot of that when I started to feel some sort of resentment in terms of like, oh, I don't want to call her. Like, I didn't want to do it every single day. I didn't have something to talk about every single day. So what really helped me is, talking to other people who connected on that, like feeling like, okay, it's not just me who feels that, but also I started therapy again at that point in my life, my freshman year. And my therapist actually really helped me talk about like challenging that amount of like, consistency in terms of like having her have the expectation that I was calling every day. So I started to do it less, and I talked to my mom about like, hey, I can call you every other day, and just start to get accustomed to that more. It helped me feel less guilt, because when I did talk to her, it was because I was like really excited to like share something, instead of it being like, I have to talk to her right now, Instead it was more like, I'm doing it when I feel like it's natural and I have something to share. So I dealt with a lot of the guilt once I was there for sure, of that sense of like leaving. So
did you ever feel guilty in a way of like leaving your siblings behind? Like, because I know you're the oldest.
Like, for sure. I would say I did, and I knew, like, for example, my sister was going through a lot in high school, and she didn't have the best experience, and so I felt pretty guilty about that. And my brother was still really young, so I mean,
how old was he when you?
If I was 18 when I left, my sister was 15, my brother was 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was still really young. Yeah, so I was like, she'll be fine. He's still figuring it out. He was in middle school. Like, I wasn't as worried, but with my sister, I definitely felt that way. Like, I felt guilty. And I mean, even just knowing like, oh, all of them are doing stuff together. All of them are hanging out. Like, I felt like I was missing out on stuff. But,
FOMO.
Yeah, I had FOMO. I had FOMO with my family, but I also knew like, I committed and knew what I was sort of getting myself into in college, where like I was investing the next 4 years of my life to be there and fully take advantage of like the experience there. So I think I found like family there, chosen family that made me feel and reminded me of home. I think that's why I ended up attracting a lot of people who were from like East LA. Like, I ended up making friends
that's really
like, literally
cool.
here.
Yeah.
So I think that helped me like cope with those feelings for sure.
Yeah.
So it helped in that sense. What about guilt in terms of just throughout your experience being away? And this can go into not only like being at school and getting an education and being in a beautiful city, maybe guilt that you feel in the sense of like you're getting to like be educated, and you're getting to maybe experiencing these things that your parents never got to experience. But also maybe that goes hand in hand with also like traveling and experiencing things that like you think are super cool. Like, did you ever have any level of guilt with those types of experiences?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think also like, just because I went to a really like elite private school, and like I'm very lucky and privileged that I was able to make it in, because it's like I had tiny classes, like we had access to like a ton of resources. Like,
Yeah.
like I needed something, like I would just make a call and it happened. You know, because kids are paying like $76,000 a year for that.
For real.
And so I think like just knowing how accessible things were to me always made me feel guilty, because like obviously my parents worked so hard to build a life out here. So I think in that sense I did, and like even like having the privilege of like my biggest worry for those 4 years was studying, passing an exam.
Literally crying about like which is valid, but like
it's like it's really hard, because it's like, and then I'm thinking about like my mom and my dad. Like my mom's still hustling, working. My dad's like, you know, he was a janitor his whole life, like he was cleaning. And so it definitely made me feel really guilty, especially because like obviously like a lot of the workers in our school were like, you know, POC or people of just like lower incomes. And like I just remember like I had a lot of moments where I was like sitting in the dining hall and like just looking at them, and like I would get emotional because I'm like it's rough, like navigating through all of that, but also like being grateful and like, you know, taking advantage of like everything that you're experiencing, right? Because like they worked really hard for you to be living that same exact life that you're living, but it's just crazy, like, to know that, like, I didn't realize that it came with a lot of, like, emotional, like, taxing.
You didn't know it would come with that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yay, let's see. And then I'm like, damn, I feel like shit right now.
It's definitely a weird balance. Like, and that goes for traveling, too. For me, I'm like, I get so excited about, like, getting to experience this thing. Or even going to college, I was so excited. Everyone was excited for me. Then you're there, and, like, you're taking in, like, this different, expensive, luxurious, what feels like, damn, I get like this room, even though, you know, I'm sharing with a lot of people. It was nice. I had people clean up for me. I had dining hall food, you know, never had to cook, and it was amazing. But I could not help but think about like, dang, like I get to do this, and I know my parents are also still like back home working, same thing they've been doing for years now, and like that was the goal. The goal was to make it easier, but like you never know how much it comes with these layers of like, oh, I have to carry that, knowing that it's shifting now with me, and that's amazing. But also, why does it have to be this way? Like, why couldn't they also have this in their life? Or I just think about how my parents would have also loved being like in college, like just learning, just being educated, and learning all these random things, making friends, and being on campus. You know, it's just like, it's a crazy thing to balance for sure.
I also like remember, like right now I was thinking about it. Like I remember when my parents came for the first time to see me out there. Oh my God, because they didn't drop me off. Like because it was too expensive. So I just like showed up at 18 with like my entire life and 2 luggages, and it was crazy. Like I was excited, but I was also like, I had literally just sobbed the entire plane ride because I was leaving. Dude, that's crazy. It was bad. But I remember when I like my parents were there that first week, like I was giving them a tour of like the town. Like it was a small Amish town, and like I remember I looked at my dad, and my dad just doesn't really get like emotional struggles with like emotional availability and like just talking. And I was like, so how do you feel like being here? He literally looks at me and like, I'm gonna cry. But serious? He like looks at me. He's like, Mija, like I've never been so proud of you. And like he starts crying. In the moment, I'm like, fuck. I was like, oh my God. I was like, ugh, that was so intense. But yeah, just to know that like they were so happy, like even though maybe they couldn't express it. But yeah, it was just great to be like, damn, like I know I did something great, like but it's hard. It's fucking hard.
Hard. That's crazy that you say that. I've had moments with my dad too that I'm just like, God, man, you're gonna make me cry, bro.
Isn't it weird too? Like so I also struggle like crying with somebody that usually like it's not normal.
It's not normal. And that's why it makes it even more emotional. I'm like, it's like non-normal to not talk to bro. I'm like, no, literally. I remember one time actually my dad came and I was like, oh, bring your coworkers, you know, because they work on houses. Like he's an electrician. And he brought his coworkers. They were all in their uniforms. And he's so proud, like walking them into, he's like, this is where my daughter goes to school. And like taking them to go eat this buffet food. And I'm just like, he's so proud.
No, he is. They get so happy.
Yeah. And it was crazy how my dad was actually the one to cry when I got into UCLA too. And I was just like, I wasn't even crying. Like, he was so proud. It was crazy to me. It's crazy seeing the emotions come out when they're not, it's not normal. So it's amazing, but there's a lot of guilt that you like feel.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great, right? Because it just goes to show that like the love is mutual between like both of us.
Which is what makes it beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm sure they experience guilt to some degree with like some of the beautiful choices we make. Oh well.
She's ready. How do we know? That's for her no shoes.
Yeah, baby. I was bleeding in the morning, guys. Crisis.
Girl, if there's one thing you know about Excel is that she's unfortunately a little clumsy.
See, I don't.
Just happens.
I'm just like prone to injury. I just think sometimes I'm not like fully present.
Yeah, clumsy, bro.
Okay, kind of clumsy.
Oh, what about on the bright side? Like, in what ways has distance created growth for you?
Yeah.
Like how has it helped maybe your relationship with your parents? Like, yes, there's a lot of guilt, but has it helped in any way?
Oh, for sure. I think we needed that distance. I just think like, well, I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. So I think like by default, we had very like, negative like styles of communication. And it was just a lot for every single person. And so I think leaving also helped my parents like build a better relationship. Because I wasn't the middle person, like being the mediator between like an argument. And I also think like I learned to like grow my relationship with both of them and learn to love them more from afar, obviously, because I felt like my mom was sometimes like a helicopter mom a little bit sometimes.
What does that mean?
like she was just like she wanted to be involved in like every part of my life, basically. And I think it was weird because like to some degree like I was close to her, but then like as I grew older there was like certain things I didn't want to share because obviously she had like her own perceptions of things. I think it definitely helped us grow our relationship. And but I also feel like because we had such a hard relationship, we had a really strained relationship. Let's just say that. And so like I till this day like think like I wish like we would have worked things out, but it was just really hard. And like going to therapy helped me also like just feel better about like, my family and wanting to grow, the dynamic.
Agreed.
What about you?
No, I think space definitely helped us. Funny enough, I think my parents always knew I was going to leave college. Like that was like, it was obviously opposite to you. We've talked about this. They knew since like middle school I was going to leave. I was even trying to leave to a boarding school in high school. They knew
that's crazy.
I was like already ready to go to a boarding school since like 15. But that didn't happen. It was too expensive. Learned my lesson there. Then you need money to go to school. So scholarships were like top of mind at that point. Anyways, they knew I was going to leave. So I think it was like a known thing. So there was no surprise around the guilt of like me leaving because I knew I was going to do that. However, it was definitely helpful because even though they knew it was going to happen, I feel like, especially with my siblings, it brought us so much closer. Like my sister and I, we literally thought we would never get along in our lives. Like it was so hard for us. It was so hard for us. 2 girls, 3 years apart. Like we just argued about dumb stuff, but it ended up helping us a lot. Like that separation actually is what brought us really close. So it really did help my relationships. It meant that I like, when I did see them, like I really wanted to be present. I really wanted to take advantage of the time there. So even when it comes to, and I'm not telling everyone like move out of your house now until you're financially able to, and not, there's a balance of it all. But I do always recommend people like, if you could, you should have it, even if you don't go to college or you don't go far away or something and you commute, like it is really nice in your 20s to help you figure out like your own sense of independency, to have that separation, because you end up like, I feel it brings you a little closer because you end up like really feeling like you want that quality time instead of just like always beating each other's heads. Like, because if you're in the same space, like it's hard not to get annoyed of each other here and there. Like it's just easy.
It's easy. Natural.
So that's why I'm like, I always recommend people move out, but I know there's a lot of guilt that's attached to that, which makes it hard for people to move out. Like I know that with some of my friends who like, she's having like, she wants to move out, but it's so hard for her because why would you do that? Why you have space here, like, but it's because you want that sense of independency and you want to like figure out your own things, and resentment grows so much faster in the same household. So it definitely helped the relationship for sure.
And I also think like in like Latinx communities, like we're just like very close together. We're like a tight knit group. So like,
and that's what's kind of told to us.
Exactly.
Like,
it's unconventional for people to leave, but like, we live in a country where like that is the college experience. Like you leave, and it's as hard as it is. Like, because I don't approve of the way we function as a society, and like everyone should be independent and all men for themselves. But I'm like, I feel like going to college and like being independent was like one of the best experiences of my life.
Me
like
too.
It took away the cushion that I had basically like living at home. And it forced me to like live for myself, understand myself, like just live outside of like what my parents raised me to be. Obviously still conserving like the good, but also letting go of a lot of bad stuff that like I learned, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
How did you navigate like survivor skill and like the sense that like you were one of the very few in your community that made it out there, right? Like, especially because like you said, like the system isn't built for POC to make it out. Like it's meant to keep you down here, and it's hard, especially because I know you and I were part of a lot of like youth development programs, things that like were the reason we made it this far.
It is very interesting because I have like really clear memories of people from high school. For example, my friend, he one time came up to me and was like, Metzley, like, you're gonna be so successful in life. It was so sweet of him. He was like, you're gonna do so well in life. You're gonna be the future. Like, you're just saying that, like, you could see the genuine, like, just excitement for me. And he was like, and I'm not going anywhere, but like, I'm proud of you. And that was so sad to hear, because even though it was like, he was saying great things about me, it was like, he had already internalized that he wasn't going to do that. Like, it wasn't going to go well for him. And it sucks because, okay, this is also like obviously a product of just like the way our environment is and like our education system is. Like I said, rewards certain people, constantly rewarded me. You're involved, you're extroverted, you're academically driven to what the standards are in school. You're rewarded for that. That's how it is. Like, they reward those because they want your school to look good. And I get it. But it then means like every opportunity comes to the few. Like, I remember me and my old roommate, she was valedictorian of our high school, and me and her, there was like an award ceremony. 20 of the freaking medals came to us, and that was it. Everyone else was like one here and there, and it was like, ugh. Like, feels then weird. It feels like I'm proud of myself, but it's like the way like it's so offset. Obviously, people are gonna feel type of way about me, and obviously, like, and that sucks because I'm like, I don't want that, but I'm not choosing, please reward me. You're doing it just because I'm extroverted, just because I'm confidently in speaking like to people, you know, like it sucks because that some things are rewarded, some things are like given more attention. And so, yes, when it comes to like that experience, I definitely feel like it's hard to feel like, yeah, you're one of the few who like make it out per se in what that. Okay, so let me just say, I feel like when it comes to like making it out, we see that as one sort of way in the society. Like, you go to like an amazing Ivy League credible school, you get a high paying job, or like a corporate job oftentimes is what it's rewarded by. You know, or just like featured on things, whatever. And so it sucks because that's what's like seen as like success. Even though that doesn't have to be the only version of success. And so maybe it was the way that like I fell into the stereotypical, like traditional, conventional way of success. And that made other people who did not do that feel like they weren't successful. So it really does suck, but that's why I try to a lot with like the content I create now. Like, I don't want it to be about like that success. I want it to be about like, we grew up in this community and we don't have to make it out of here. Like, we can still be successful and live here and be proud of being here. And like, you can all do it in your own ways. And I feel like I've learned that. I feel like I always thought as well, like, the way success is deemed is like, I get a good job, I go to college, I whatever, etc. But I've started to learn actually the things that make me the happiest and make me feel the most successful are like success of like having and maintaining deep friendships, or like the success of like community, the success of like feeling good about my choices that I'm making and what my values are. And so like, it really has started to shift. But like, what society tells us is like good, it sucks because it ends up making people feel like they're not.
For sure. Know?
So I'm also questioning my own, you know, like I've been in the past few years questioning my own like experience with how I feel like I've made it out in the sense of actually feeling much happier with like the simple things in life that actually feel much more joyful than
other things.
Than those other things, yeah. How about you? I feel like I went on a tangent there.
No, that's great. For me, I think I did experience it to some degree. Yeah, I'm trying to like think back to like high school and all that. Yeah, I think like, for sure. Like, I definitely did always feel like really sad about like everybody else in our school, right? Because it's like, we went to a public school. We're the product of like public school systems, and like just knowing that like there were so many other kids that just needed that extra support, but because of the lack of resources,
The resources are given to the people who don't necessarily need them the most.
It sucked. Like, I just remember very vividly, like, one of my biggest things, like, when I was in college and, like, was thinking about, like, what I wanted to do for the rest of my life was, like, I wanted to help the kids that, you know, wanted to make it out, but they didn't have access to everything. So I think it always just, like, lives in my mind. And, like, I think to some degree I did feel guilty, like, subconsciously about it. You know, because my parents were involved, like, you know, we had, you know, teachers that, like, loved us because we were great, and they would, like, connect us to this resource and this program, and, you know, it worked really well. But it's really unfortunate that, like, the kids that need it the most don't get it. And and I think, like, now even working in, like, nonprofit with, like, youth and, like, you know, just kind of seeing the way the system, like, keeps continuing and, like, keeps happening. And it's like, I see a lot of, like, knowing, like, thinking about, like, high school friends, like, or people that, like, we were acquaintances with, but, like, a lot of them are in, like, really difficult situations, and it fucking sucks. Like, I really wish it wasn't this way, but it's really hard to navigate. And
to your point, like, I think there is a lot of natural guilt, even though you're doing amazing things and you're proud of it. Like, you feel that level of guilt. Like, why do I have to be the only one to get it, or, like, the one of the few instead of everyone? But the system is what makes it so that's, you know, that's how it is. Which is very unfortunate. Being the first is not easy. That's to say. Okay, let's talk about rest and boundaries, which is, like, so different, but also something super, like, relevant in our lives. What is your relationship? And I kind of talked about this in, like, our check-in, but, like, what is your relationship to, like, resting? Feeling like that's, like, wasting time, not productive. Also, obviously a product of the environment and how we're taught what you know, what is productive. But like, how do you feel resting and seeing that, interpreting that as wasting time because of how you were raised to always be working or helping, or that level of guilt you feel when you're resting? What's your relationship to that?
No, I've always struggled with resting. Like, I always
me too.
have, honestly. Can't
lie about it. Me too.
Like, the thing is, like, I'm resting, I'm, like, in my bed, you know, kind of enjoying, like, enjoying my leisure time, and then, like, I'm like, fuck. Like, my mind starts going, you should get up and do something. You shouldn't be resting. Like,
to feel bad.
You should be cleaning. You should be doing something. Like, it feels so weird because it's like my body is resting, like, physically, but my mind is, like, in a whole different world, hard, like, making me feel so horrible about, like, the current decision that I'm doing. But it's like the reality of it's like my body is asking for rest. Like, I feel it that I need to, like, lay down and take a step back. But I think recently it's something I've been working with my therapist about.
Cool.
So, like, kind of just getting comfortable and, like, accepting that, like, you know, we're human. We're not meant to function, like, the way the world wants us to, like, always up to something, like, what's next, like, on to the next bigger thing. And I think I've tried to honor, like, what my body feels. Like, sometimes I'll have, like, really intense days. Like, I mean, the day we went running, dude, in the night, I was, like, remember we went to check out, like, that bars place?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was, like, shutting down, and I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, maybe I should have gone home. And, like, it just made me realize that, like, damn, like, your body really is, like, it talks to you. Like, it yells at you, like, I need this, I need water, I need all of this. And so I think recently I've been trying to, like, be more accepting of, like, resting. And I think
boundaries too. And boundaries. That kind of goes into boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like, I also need to learn how to say no, because sometimes... Well, also, like, because
this is hilarious because I want to talk about this because it's just
because, like, no, literally, but, like, I guess, like, in the moment when I said yes, I was so excited.
So down.
I was down, like, my body, my body was still, my body was still feeling good at the time, and I had fun. Like, don't get me wrong, but like when I was in the car, like, about to drive us home, I was like, I was like, it's bedtime. And it wasn't even that late. It was for like 9.
That's your boundary. That's your boundary.
That's, like, my boundary. But I think it's a practice that I have to tell myself,
definitely.
Like, it's okay to rest. Like, it is okay. Like, I think about, like, fucking rich ass people that, like, go get expensive massages, like, go on luxurious vacations. Like, that's rest. But we're not taught that, like, rest is normal because, unfortunately, we've had to work 2 times harder to get to where we are, especially as, like, coming from, you know, immigrant communities. So it's been hard, but I also, like, want to, like, recognize the fact that, like, you know, my parents' success and, like, all their hard work, like, I'm in this position that I can like rest, right?
Exactly.
And so like accepting
that's
that.
why it comes with guilt too, though, because you can rest and they necessarily can't / maybe haven't always.
Yeah.
You know? So
but what about you? How do you navigate through those feelings?
No, I realistically I struggle with resting, like I do, and with me it's more on the weekend. Like I feel like I have to I have to go to this and I have to go to this and I have to do this and instead of just like not planning out like some part of my day. I feel like it all has to be planned out, and so I'm trying to learn to just like be okay with interpreting that as rest, like not having a plan and letting myself like feel like I'm on a schedule all the time, because that's how my brain works so much. I've been just so like that, just I've always been like that. So it's hard to break out of that. So I'm learning to just like, hey, it's okay if I want to watch TV for an hour. Like it's okay. But I think I associate it so badly, and I talked to my therapist about this. Like I feel horrible when I watch TV. Like I literally feel like shit. I feel like, I get mad at myself. And I'm like, it's so bad, because I'm like, girl, you swear. Like, it's not that bad. But I tend to feel like that. Like I have to do something. And so I'm learning to like, hey, I'm going to watch it for an hour, and I'm going to set that's for an hour, and then I'm going to go do something. But it doesn't have to be like I get angry at myself for like watching TV or for like scrolling and like, I can't believe I just did that for the past hour. Like it's okay. We learn, we're aware, and like we move forward. And that's what I need to be more proud of myself for, like being aware of when I'm doing those things and changing it, rather than just being mad and just like, like what am I, So I'm working on that. And then in terms of boundaries, like you touching on this weekend when we went, funny enough, I actually feel like I've been doing so much better in this after college. In college, I always felt like, okay, everyone's going out, I have to go out. Like there's no boundaries. And I would feel guilty if like, like everyone's going. Like I felt guilty if I didn't go with them. I feel guilty for saying no. Like I just felt like I always had to say yes. And that ended up being like, I was really tired. The next day after I was going out or something, I was exhausted and the whole day was wasted. And then I felt even more guilt. Like it's a freaking cycle. And so, so I've really after I moved from college and moved to San Francisco, because I lived there for a year, I really learned to like build boundaries with like my rest in terms of like when I was going to sleep and when I knew my body was good, or when I knew I had enough like socialization. And so like even like this weekend, like there's 3 of us and you guys were gonna go somewhere, and I just knew like I think I'm ready to go home. And I'm trying to not feel guilty about that. So I'm doing better. Just like this was enough for me. Like I'm good to go now. And I know I have things to do. And so I'm like, I don't want to feel like, overwhelmed after. And so I know when I have to like call it. So I feel like I've been better at that.
No, you were great this weekend. Bye. Took the metro home. She said, I'm going home, guys.
Y'all have fun.
No, I was just worried for your safety, but she's here.
I'm alive. No, but yeah, like I feel like it's so important, but there is so much guilt attached to it. Like, what if they think like I don't want to go with them, or what if they like, I don't know, whatever, you just make up all these things and feel guilty for it. But I end up being so happy by setting those boundaries that I feel less guilt, because I'm like there's boundaries that have to exist in order for me to feel fine and okay. So,
it's true.
I'm learning to be okay with those things.
And I think like I was just thinking right now, like I don't think any of us were really taught how to rest.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, for sure. Because they didn't.
So like my parents didn't rest. Like my mom was always doing, and like she still struggles with that a lot. Like she's older. Yeah. Like she's pushing like 60 right now. And like she's still
girl sit.
Yeah. No, I'm like, do I need to tie you up, homegirl? Because like, do you see how you're like going right now? And like, I get it 100%, but like your body needs to rest. Like it is something that you need to implement into like, whenever it works out for you. But it's really important. Yeah.
So this is your call to encourage your mom, your dad,
your sister,
whoever to just rest. Tell them to sit
down, take them to the park, lay on the grass.
That's rest too. Things that just like let you slow down.
Yeah, for sure.
So, get you. Okay, the last thing I do want to talk about before we close this out is the question around what's going on in our communities right now. I'm curious, with the crisis in our communities right now regarding ICE, deportations, emergencies. We have like these fires going on this past year. All these things. How does this impact your ability to rest or set limits? And also deal with like guilt, knowing that these things are going on. And I don't know about you, but I've always felt like man, I don't feel like I'm doing enough.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I could ever be doing enough. So yeah, I don't know, how have you navigated these past few months with everything going on?
Yeah, I feel like 2025 has felt like a decade.
The longest freaking
year, and we're not even like at the end. Yeah, it has been a very like emotionally taxing on me.
For sure.
I think especially like I remember with the fires, like definitely felt like I wasn't doing enough, and like there was only so much you could do, right? Because it's like it was something so big, like so yeah, I definitely do feel like I was going through like the sense of like survivor's guilt, like when I remember from like the fires, because like I had an old high school, like she was a really close friend of mine in high school, and
who was affected?
Yeah, she was affected, and like she lost her home, and I just remember when I like read through that, I was like, oh my god, like it just is hitting people that you know, and it was really hard because like obviously like the most I could do is like support financially, but it's like, how do you even support like people that had just lost like their entire like livelihoods? So yeah, I think it was hard. I think I was doing the best that I could. And I work for a nonprofit. So like at the time we really like got together to like create like hubs where they were like getting like donations of food, clothes to help like families recover. So I was supporting during that time, like driving out to like the Pasadena area. But yeah, there was definitely times where like I was just sitting at home and I'm like, what a privilege it is to still have my own home.
That's really guilt really hit me when I, okay, sure, like we're going out and doing things and helping and volunteering and donating and da-da-da, but it always felt like, okay, now I'm home and I'm like hanging out with my friends and like, and it's just like, I feel like messed up,
right? It's weird. And like I remember at the time I talked to my therapist about it, and she's like, yeah, it's called survivor's guilt, right? Because you were living through it, but you weren't affected directly. And it fucking sucks. It's one of like the worst feelings, I think. Like I think guilt is like something that I feel like I can still navigate, but like survivor's guilt just like weighs really heavy on me. And so yeah, I think especially now, since like June, since we've seen like basically the kidnapping of our people, it's been hard. And I think I tried my best to support in the ways that I could, like you know, like donating to like local organizations that are out there like in the front lines,
promoting these events,
and like I attended a few of the protests, but yeah, it just never felt like enough. Like I felt like there was more that I should be doing, but also just reminding myself that like it's a marathon and it's not like a sprint, right? Like I can't like drain myself to try and like give every single part of myself, right? And my therapist helped me walk through it, like just making sure that like I'm also taking care of myself, so when I have an opportunity to support, I'm available and I can, right? But it's been really hard. But I think just knowing that like the work that I do already on a daily, like working with low-income youth, like, right, like educating them, helping them develop their skills, right? We're like creating these small little humans to, you know, be good people in their community, right? And love their community and continue to support it and uplift it. And so I think just recognizing that, yes, maybe I'm not doing something that's like directly going to make a huge impact, like in the long term, I am still doing the work to support my community.
And I feel like people forget that. And that's a really great point, because I think something that I dealt with guilt was like, sure, let's say I have savings and I'm worried about my own situation, even though I have it better than some of these people who lost their homes. I dealt with a lot of guilt of like, technically I can give everything that I have, but I also wanted to find a balance of like, I need to also protect myself, my family, and like prevent stuff from right. So it was like the guilt of like I know I could, but I also want to have the boundary of knowing like I can't give it all. I can't, because I'm worried, or I want to protect making sure that I'm okay too, right? So it's like the guilt of that too. But I think what's important too is a lot of us don't think about how we have our own skills and our own things that we're doing that are contributing to the long-term better of this not happening again. And so I think like what you're saying about the work that you're doing at your job, that is in your strengths. That is what your contribution is. And everyone's contribution does not need to look the same. It does not all have to be monetary. Like some people can, it can be different. Like if it's for me, like my platform that I have to share events or to share with other people or encourage them to be aware of it, then that's my strength. And for someone else, it might be, they have a yoga studio and they can host classes to like focus on your mental health. That's their strength. And so everyone has different ways of being able to contribute into a whole better place in the long run, right? Because it doesn't feel direct. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm actually like changing the world. But we are in our own individual ways, even if it's slower. And so I feel like people forget that like we are contributing, but that's where like the guilt comes from, because it doesn't feel like, well, I'm not buying someone a house, or I'm not, you know, whatever. So,
and there's different levels of it, right? Like there's the people at the front line. There's the people that are like, you know, like our therapists that are supporting people.
But I think we think only one way to do
like
it, and
this
not
is it.
all these ways
No, like
doing it. Exactly.
Like you said, that was really great. Yeah.
So that's what we have to be aware of. Like, this is how Ixchel is contributing, and that's amazing. And I might be contributing in a different way, and someone might be contributing in a different way. And like, we're all going to do it different ways, but collectively, that's what's important to make it happen at the end of the day. You know? So definitely guilt, and guilt is normal. You're going to feel it in all of these things, and it's I feel okay actually with feeling some level of guilt, because it means that I care.
You're human.
I'm human, and I have these emotions, and I feel hurt, and I'm hurting for people around me. So it's okay to feel those things. Now it's like, how do you balance what you're doing to contribute, but also taking care of yourself in order to show up when you want to and be there. So it's definitely a balance. Okay, y'all, we're back. We took a little break. We got some matcha, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but yes, we're back. We kind of just wanted to close out the conversation with a little bit on more practical tips when it comes to guilt, how we've helped just kind of like manage it, navigate it in the moment. So anything that comes to mind for you that when you like start to think about guilt, experience it, or feel it, that you kind of do to help you recenter yourself or acknowledge it and kind of move on or move forward.
I think for me, definitely like journaling. I've been telling Leslie, oh my gosh, that I've been doing like video journaling. So I like pull up my MacBook and I just hit record and kind of just like rant. And it kind of helps me just like think about my thought processes and like watching it over, just thinking about like where the feelings are stemming from. Is there any way that I can like reframe it or rethink about it? So that helps a little bit. And I think another thing that just helped me, kept me grounded, is like just knowing that like that feeling comes from something good, right? Like it just shows that I care. Exactly. And like when other people feel that way, like it's the same thing. But I think that's what's helped me a little bit, but it's definitely something hard to navigate for sure.
Yeah, no, I totally agree on the part of, I try to remind myself that like where guilt stems from, or where other people's guilt that I'm experiencing might stem from. And it's usually a place of like caring or love, or just, wanting something, right? Whether it's your parents missing you for moving away, or whether it's, whatever, trying something new, like it's stemming from like experiencing these things for the first time. So just reminding you of like why you might be experiencing this. So I agree on the journaling. I haven't tried the video journaling. I want to. I think that might work better for me because I'm a talker. But my hand cannot move as fast as my mind does. No, so, really, oh my God. So it might help, because right now it's mostly like journaling, writing about it, or going outside and just like thinking about it in like nature of some sort. So that's also what I recommend.
I also think like not letting it control your decisions, because I think that's something I struggle with a lot. Like whenever I feel really guilty, I'm like, damn, I'm not going to do this. But it's like, I know that's the right choice for myself.
That's true.
Yeah. And like also just being like honest about the fact that sometimes it's very subconscious and internal, because like maybe some people, like your parents, might not feel, might not be feeling some type of way, the magnitude that you think it is. Like you might not be, thinking about it that seriously. But
to close it out, we're going to do our little typical closeout. First, we're going to do like a little fun activity. So my question to you is, if you could do one thing today without any guilt at all, what would it be? I know, like I haven't thought about this either.
Eat a really delicious meal that might have a little too many calories and a little like some fried stuff in it. But
that's a good one.
Because I didn't have like a good dinner last night after. I just felt like I was gonna throw up if I ate.
Literally,
so I'm thinking about food.
That's a good one. Food is a solid choice for like, just no guilt attached to it. For me, what's funny, and this is like lighthearted, but I tend to feel a lot of guilt like with leaving Tonali at home. She's like my child, my dog, and so I think if I could do something for a day, I would just like not feel like just do stuff without her, love her, but like do stuff on my own for a day and like literally not worry about where she's at, how she's doing, So I feel like, I would love to be able to take a trip and not worry about it. So that would be what I would do.
Valid, very valid.
We're gonna play a little game, guilty or not guilty. So I'm going to ask a statement and then we can say if we're guilty of it or not. Okay, are you guilty or not guilty of saying you're on your way when you haven't even left the house?
Guilty.
I would say I'm not as guilty in this one. Like, I really usually will be like, I'm texting you when I'm actually ready.
You're already there, actually.
Yeah, I'm already actually there. I'm lying about. I'm guilty of actually having already left. All right, guilty or not guilty of eating the last piece of food at home? I'm staying quiet about it.
Guilty.
Sorry, Tonali's in the frame now.
Hi, Miss Girl.
She's seeking attention right now.
That's real. We all need some physical touch, right?
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that.
I was like, yeah,
definitely. All right, guilty or not guilty of traveling somewhere and telling your family after you've actually got there?
Ooh.
I know some people who've done this. Like,
literally
don't even tell their parents until they're actually there.
I think I almost have done it in some situations, but then the guilt just gets to me.
But are you the type to like tell them right before you're about to leave, like you already got your ticket and everything?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool, yeah.
But like at least I give them like 2 weeks notice.
At least. That's very kind of you. 2 weeks notice, like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I don't even think about it, honestly. I just go, bye. Oh yeah, I'm over here. Okay, guilty or not guilty of saying you're too busy when really you just want a nap or have time to yourself?
Not guilty. I'll be pretty honest. Like, I'm tired.
Good for you.
Girl, like...
I would say I'm more guilty of this. Like, I just, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want... This girl, she's seeking attention. Okay, anyways, I would definitely say I'm guilty of saying I'm not the words too busy, but like, oh, I have something to do. I really got to do this. And it's like nothing. I really gotta take a nap.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't used that on you, but
like noted.
I know. No, I would say more just like, especially like, no, not you. More like people who maybe I don't really want to hang out with.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to say here.
A little white lie.
Yeah. Okay, guilty or not guilty of ignoring a phone call because you knew it'd be at least an hour long?
I would say with like family members, yes. Probably not with friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like the opposite. I know for sure I have like 2 friends in particular that talk forever. So sometimes like I can't. Or I have something, sorry, I gotta go. Like 30 minutes in, I have a freaking timer, I'm out. Like I do not like being on the phone for hours. I can't do it. Guilty or not guilty of not visiting family when you are in town if they're like somewhere else? I don't know if you have like family different areas.
Yeah, I would say guilty.
Yeah. Just not mentioning it.
Yeah, a little guilty, but they're more so boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel you. Okay, what about ordering takeout instead of cooking at home, even though you had time?
Guilty.
No, for sure guilty. And I will stand by this. I'm like, that's okay.
God forbid a girl wants a meal from takeout.
I know. It doesn't want to cook one day. Jeez. Okay, cool. Cute. That was fun. All right, now we're just gonna shout out one of our favorite or a recent local business this week. This time around, obviously, we both have our matcha drinks, our strawberry matcha drinks from Akurukame. It's a coffee shop in Boyle Heights. Yeah, here it is.
Delicious.
Yeah, the owners there are amazing. Yeah, okay. And then I know you had another...
Yeah, I had another place.
Because recent.
Yes, for y'all that don't know about Guatemalan fried chicken, they just opened the first... I think it's the second location. Yeah. I think it existed once, but it didn't do so well. So they just opened officially Pollo Campero on Soto and like Olympic area, but like the real street is like Short Street. So y'all should check it out. The chicken is really good. They have like deals on Wednesday where you get like 3 pieces. Okay. Yeah, and it, like 1 or 2 sides for like $8, $8-9 bucks. Yeah, but it's really delicious.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make an exception to try it. I just haven't yet.
Check it out, you guys. It's Guatemalan fried chicken. I think it's the best fried chicken ever, but I'm biased, so
yeah, I'll be the judge of it. next week's episode.
Yeah.
What's your one wellness tip to leave our friends with?
I would say take a deep breath whenever you can, because meditating is sometimes, really hard. Like one of the things my therapist was telling me, she's like, don't be so hard on trying to meditate, but like take a deep breath before you drive. Take a deep breath after you finish doing something or before you start a new task. Just like being more mindful of that, I think.
Yeah,
helps a lot.
Yeah, it's important. We don't. The only time I really like am really connecting with like breath work is in yoga. Yeah, that's why I love it because I'm like, damn. Didn't think about how I'm breathing today. Yeah. It's the only time I really do it, so it's important to try to do it more often for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my tip would definitely be, I've been trying to get back in the groove of hiking more lately. It's something that it's probably my favorite type of movement out of everything. So I've been doing it more often, and it just brings so much joy. I mean, there's also so much data on how it helps like relieve stress. I mean, mind to body connection. So I would say go take a little nature walk. Like go to a local hiking spot. There's really good ones here. Ascot Hills, Debs Park. There's a couple cute ones that are literally within like 5-10 minute drive wherever you're at, like in Boyle Heights or East LA. It's super stress relieving, good for your mental health. Yeah. So that would be my wellness tip.
I love that. Yeah. It feels like you're getting away from the city for a minute.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you for holding space with us today. If this episode spoke to you, feel free to share it with your primas, your homegirls, your sisters, or whoever you feel that would benefit from this. And thank you for being here with us.
Yeah. Healing is super personal, but it's also very collective. So we're super excited to be doing this with all of you. Make sure to follow us and subscribe wherever you listen to Healing in Spanglish. And connect with us on Instagram so we can keep the conversation going. We'll have things going on there. And like Ixchel said, thank you so much.
Hasta la próxima, con mucho amor.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay! Episode 2 done.